Breaking Free, the revolutionary power of self-love in a world obsessed with perfection. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about beauty, success, and self-worth. Today, we're diving deep into the transformative insights I gained from an extraordinary conversation with Renetta Weaver, a visionary therapist and life coach who's revolutionizing how we think about ourselves and our place in the world. Renetta's work isn't just changing lives, it's sparking a movement that has the power to reshape our entire society. Imagine for a moment a world where your worth isn't measured by the size of your waist, the shade of your skin, or the digits in your bank account. A world where you wake up each morning, look in the mirror, and see not flaws to be fixed, but a unique, beautiful human being worthy of love and respect. Sounds like a fantasy, doesn't it? But what if I told you that this world is within our reach? That the key to unlocking it lies not in changing our bodies or our circumstances, but in radically transforming how we see ourselves. Now, I know what you're thinking. Here we go again, another feel-good talk about loving yourself. But stick with me because what I'm about to share goes far beyond platitudes and positive affirmations. This is about dismantling the very foundations of a system that has kept us running on a hamster wheel of self-doubt and inadequacy for far too long. Let's start with a hard truth. We've been sold a lie that tells us that our value is directly proportional to how closely we conform to society's ever-shifting standards of beauty and success. For women, and especially for Black women, this lie has been particularly insidious and damaging. We've internalized the message that we're not enough, not thin enough, not light-skinned enough, not successful enough. We've been riding what Renetta calls the struggle bus, desperately trying to achieve a hard body in the hopes of living a soft life. But here's the kicker, the revolutionary idea that Renetta Weaver brings to the table. What if we've had it backwards all along? What if the key to living that soft, peaceful life isn't about having a hard body at all? What if it's about embracing our bodies as they are and focusing on building our inner strength instead? This insight isn't just surprising, it's downright liberating. Now, I can almost hear the skeptics among you. That's easier said than done, you might be thinking, and you're right. It's not easy to break free from years, decades even, of societal conditioning, but it is possible and the rewards are immeasurable. Let me share with you 3 key lessons that I took away from my conversation with Renetta, lessons that have the power to transform not just how we see ourselves, but how we live our lives. The first lesson is about redefining beauty standards. For too long, we've allowed others to define what beauty means for us. We've internalized these narrow, often unattainable standards and used them as a yardstick to measure our worth. But here's the truth bomb. We have the power to redefine beauty for ourselves. Imagine for a moment what would happen if we collectively decided to reject these imposed standards. What if we embraced our curves, our skin color, our unique features as beautiful? What if we celebrated the diversity of our bodies instead of trying to conform to a one-size-fits-all ideal? This isn't just feel-good talk. There's a whole movement behind this idea. The body positivity movement is challenging the status quo and promoting self-love and acceptance. And you know what? It's working. Studies have shown that adopting a body positive mindset can lead to improved mental health, reduced risk of eating disorders, and a more balanced approach to health and fitness. But it's not just about feeling better about how we look. It's about recognizing that our worth isn't tied to our appearance at all. Which brings me to the second lesson, finding inner peace. Now, I know inner peace sounds like something out of a cheesy self-help book, but bear with me because this is where the real magic happens. You see, we've been taught to believe that if we just lose those last 10 pounds or get that promotion or find that perfect relationship, then we'll be happy. But how many times have you achieved one of those goals only to find that the happiness is fleeting and you're soon chasing the next thing? That's because true happiness and peace come from within. It's not about changing your circumstances. It's about changing your perspective. It's about focusing on self-love and self-acceptance, regardless of what's happening around you. This isn't just new age fluff. There's solid science behind this. Research has shown that practices like mindfulness and self-compassion can actually rewire our brains, reducing anxiety and depression and increasing our overall sense of well-being. But here's the real kicker. When you find that inner peace, when you're no longer constantly at war with yourself, it frees up so much energy that you can then channel into pursuing your passions, building meaningful relationships, and making a positive impact on the world. Which brings me to the third and perhaps most powerful lesson, empowerment through self love. Now, I know self love has become a bit of a buzzword lately, but I'm not talking about bubble baths and face masks, although those are nice too. I'm talking about a deep, unshakable belief in your own worth and capabilities. When you truly love and accept yourself, it becomes a source of incredible strength. It's like having your own personal cheerleader, always in your corner, always believing in you. And let me tell you, that kind of self belief is transformative. It allows you to take risks, to pursue your dreams without fear of failure. Because even if things don't work out, you know your worth isn't tied to your achievements. It allows you to set boundaries and stand up for yourself because you know you deserve respect. It allows you to be vulnerable and form deeper connections because you are no longer hiding parts of yourself out of fear of judgment. In essence, self love becomes a superpower. It's the foundation upon which you can build a truly fulfilling life. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. This all sounds great, but is it really possible? Can we really break free from these deeply ingrained societal norms? To answer that, let me share with you the story of Renee Blutt in her She Did That movement. Renee is a storyteller based in Los Angeles and New York City, and she recognized a big problem: the lack of representation and the perpetuation of negative stereotypes about Black women in the media. But instead of just complaining about it, Renee decided to do something. She created a documentary called She Did That, showcasing the success stories of Black women entrepreneurs. This wasn't just about putting positive images out there, it was about changing the narrative, showing Black women as powerful, successful, and in control of their own destinies. The impact was huge. The documentary was a hit, streaming on Netflix and later on Amazon Prime. It sparked a podcast and an annual holiday bazaar featuring over 50 Black women owned brands. But more than that, it started a movement. It showed Black women, and indeed all women, that success doesn't have to look like what we've been told it should look like, that we can define success for ourselves on our own terms. This is the power of redefining standards and embracing our authentic selves. It's not just about feeling good, although that's certainly part of it. It's about creating real, tangible change in the world. But I get it. Changing deeply ingrained beliefs and behaviors isn't easy. It's a journey, and like any journey, it can be challenging at times. So let me share another story with you, one that illustrates both the challenges and the rewards of this journey. This is the story of Lauren Fisher, a woman who, like many of us, struggled with body image and self esteem issues. Lauren grew up internalizing the message that her worth was tied to her appearance and specifically to her weight. She went through cycles of restrictive dieting and over exercising, always chasing that elusive perfect body. But at some point, Lauren had an epiphany. She realized that no matter how much weight she lost, she never felt good enough. The goalposts were always moving. And more importantly, she realized how much of her life she was missing out on because of this constant battle with her body. So Lauren made a radical decision. She decided to accept her body as it was, to focus on health rather than size, to celebrate what her body could do rather than how it looked. Was it easy? Absolutely not. Lauren had to confront years of internalized fat phobia and negative self talk. She had to learn to tune out the voices, both external and internal, that told her she wasn't good enough. But the results were transformative. As Lauren began to accept and love her body, she found herself becoming more confident in all areas of her life. She started pursuing passions she'd always been too self conscious to try before. She formed deeper, more authentic relationships. And perhaps most importantly, she found a sense of peace and contentment that had always eluded her when she was constantly at war with her body. Lauren's story is powerful because it shows us that change is possible, that we can break free from the constraints society has placed on us, that we can find happiness and fulfillment not by changing our bodies, but by changing our minds. Now, I can almost hear some of you thinking, that's all well and good for Lauren, but my situation is different. I have real pressures in my life. I have a career to think about, a family to support. I can't just decide not to care what people think. And you're right, we don't live in a vacuum. The society we live in does place value on certain appearances and behaviors. But here's the thing: by buying into these standards, by constantly striving to meet them, we're perpetuating the very system that's causing us harm. What if instead we decided to opt out? What if we collectively decided to value ourselves and each other based on our character, our actions, our contributions to the world, rather than on how closely we conform to some arbitrary standard of beauty or success? This isn't just about individual happiness, although that's certainly important. This is about creating a more just and equitable society, because when we free ourselves from these limiting beliefs, we free up so much energy, energy that we can then use to pursue our passions, to support our communities, to fight for change. Think about it. How much time and energy do you spend worrying about your appearance, about whether you're successful enough, thin enough, young enough? Now imagine channeling all that energy into something truly meaningful, into creating art, starting a business, fighting for social justice, or simply being more present for the people you love. This is the revolutionary power of self love. It's not just about feeling good about ourselves, although that's certainly a nice bonus. It's about reclaiming our power, our time, our energy from a system that profits from our insecurities. And make no mistake, it is a system. The diet industry, the beauty industry, even certain aspects of the wellness industry, they all profit from making us feel like we're not enough. They create a problem. You're not thin enough, young enough, zen enough, and then sell us the solution. But what if we refuse to play that game anymore? What if we decide that we are enough just as we are? Now, I'm not saying it's easy. We're going against years, generations even of conditioning. But every time you choose self love over self criticism, every time you celebrate your unique qualities instead of trying to conform, you're not just changing your own life. You're contributing to a larger shift in our culture. You have the power to redefine beauty, to find inner peace, to empower yourself through self love. And in doing so, you have the power to inspire others to do the same. So here's my challenge to you. I want you to take a moment and reflect on how you measure your worth. Are you basing it on the numbers on a scale, on the size of your paycheck, on how many likes your last social media post got? Now imagine, just for a moment, letting all of that go. Imagine defining your worth based on your kindness, your creativity, your resilience. Imagine valuing yourself for who you are, not for how well you measure up to some external standard. Start small if you need to. The next time you look in the mirror, instead of focusing on what you want to change, find one thing you love about yourself. The next time you accomplish something, no matter how small, take a moment to acknowledge and celebrate it. And let's extend this beyond ourselves. The next time you're tempted to compliment someone solely on their appearance, pause. Instead, compliment them on their kindness, their intelligence, their sense of humor. Let's start valuing and celebrating the qualities that truly matter. Because here's the truth: you are not a problem to be fixed, you are not a project to be improved. You are a unique, valuable human being worthy of love and respect exactly as you are. So let's start a revolution of self love, of authenticity, of embracing our true selves. Because when we do that, we don't just change our own lives, we change the world. Imagine a world where everyone felt truly comfortable in their own skin, where we value diversity, not just in appearance, but in thought, in experience, in ways of being, where we channeled all the energy we currently spend on self doubt and insecurity into solving real problems, into creating, into connecting with each other. That's the world we can create, one act of self love at a time. So I challenge you, start today, start now, look in the mirror and see not flaws to be fixed, but a unique, beautiful human being worthy of love and respect. Celebrate your strengths, embrace your quirks, love yourself fiercely and unapologetically because you are worthy, you are beautiful, you have the power to create the life you want, not by changing who you are, but by fully embracing who you are. The soft life isn't about having a hard body, it's about having a strong spirit. And that, my friends, is something we all have within us. Let's go out there and show the world what real beauty, real success, and real happiness look like. Let's break free from the constraints that have held us back for too long. Let's start a revolution of self love that will change not just our own lives, but the very fabric of our society. The power is in your hands. The time is now. Are you ready to join the revolution? Thank you.